Hello all. Due to some technical issue, we are checking it. Please wait for some time. There is some technical issue. We are fixing it. Please wait for some time. Hari, please check and close. Fatapat. Hello all. Due to some technical there is some technical issue. We are fixing it. Please wait for some.
Now my voice is audible. I think it is working fine. Yeah, okay, thank you. Sorry for that. What happens? Okay, so just because of some of the, I think it's due to some technical issues it's happened. Okay, so we just start our session. So last class we have completed the closest concept. So today we're going to see about the asynchronous. So I just work with the JS bin today also. Okay, we just get started and we will do it in here. Okay, so the first topic today we're going to see is about the callback function. We're going to see about the callback function and how it is workings, and we will get it. Okay, so what we're going to see, about the asynchronous factor of the JavaScript. So as we know, like JavaScript is a single threaded synchronous language, but by using the runtime of it, we can able to operate the asynchronous part of the JavaScript too. So that is what we're going to see now. So what is mean by actually asynchronous? Actually, if JavaScript wait for no one, so that is the part, that is the interesting part here. So if I running a time consuming function, JavaScript is not going to wait for. So what it is going to do, it is going to run the another line of the function. So here we're going to see how to manage those things and how we can get that. Okay, so that is what we're going to see. Just a minute. Okay, so for example, let us consider we have two function. If I want to run a function after this, for example, here I just going to have a function, and this function is going to say this function is going to say, and here I just going to say, here we can say console.log. Here we simply say console.log hello. So before running this function, what we going to do, we're going to create another function. Okay, so here we create another function, and here I just say this is my first, and here I just going to say okay. So here what we're going to do, we're going to create another function and we're going to say it that, and let's see how it is working. Okay, so here I just going to, instead of this, we can say, we just say my display is going to be the another function, and here I just going to say send inside the function, you need to send another function. And here what I'm going to do, inside of here I just going to add another function, and we don't have that my display function, we're going to create it, and here it is going to be goodbye of it. Okay, so here the next thing what we going to do, we just going to call that function, and before that we need to say what is going to be my displayer function would be. So I just having another function, so that function is going to be the my display function. So you can see I'm passing a function that is inside another function, so that is what I did. So here I just say my display, this is going to be another function, and here we going to have, we just simply say console.log whatever we are getting here. Okay, something is going to get here, so whatever I'm getting I just call it. Okay, so if we call this as instead of my first, we copy and paste it here, we can say my second, copy and paste it, and we can say my second. Okay, so we call this my function first, and then my second. Instead of what we going to do, we calling the my second function first, and then we're going to call the my first function. So the only thing here we need to understand is the flow of thing. So this function is created, it is the function is created, if the function is created means it is the way, like you can see the my first function is created and then my second function is created. Don't think that this is the way that is get executed, it is not. So it is executed, the functions are executed based on the way they are called it. So here you can see we calling the second function, though my function is, we declared it before the my second function, but we are calling my second function before the my first function, which means the functions are going to run based on, the functions are going to run my display. Just a minute, just remove this, okay. So it is going to run based on how it is produced, like how it is called. Here you can see right now we have the goodbye, and then we have the my first function. So it may cause us some problem. What is the problem? This is comes to the control flow. So what is meant by control flow? Like sequence control. So what is meant by sequence control? We need to control that function. For example, I need to run this function, and then after that only I need to execute this. And you may say like, okay, so then you need to call my first function and after that my second function. So it is not possible that way, right? So because every calling the function means it may happen some of the error. The reason is steady streamed, it will be available, maybe it will be available, it takes time, maybe you can see this like this evening you will get it, maybe. Okay, okay, so you just see we are working in a big project or big complex code of thing, and we are not to say like this is come to first and this is, we are not able to say that, right? Because we don't know where when to execute the function and where to execute the function. It is according to the project that we are working with, right? So what we going to do, we're going to create a call function. So what the callback function is going to do, the callback function is going to, we just going to call a single function, but it is going to execute in a sequence way. Here we see we have a displayer function. Okay, here we have a displayer function, and here we have two different functions, and this sequence are controlled by me, right? So we are controlling the sequence, and I am telling which comes to first and which comes second, and like that we need to tell. Okay, so here what we going to do, we going to tell that once the function is gets executed, after that this has to come, like that we need to tell. If I call the function before this one, if I call the function before this one and we executed it, still it's going to be work only, because it is going to be run based on how it is called. Okay, so this is going to happen. So here what we going to do, we just going to create a function by using the sequence control. So how we can create a sequence control for this function? So once this is get run, I need to run my function. So how we can create that? For example, I just want to create a calculator. So how we can create? First, I'm creating a function. So that function is going to display the answer. So that function is going to display the answer in the console. We're just going to console.log, and here we're going to get something. So that something is come from, I just say some, and something is come from here. Okay, so this is a function. If someone calls and they will pass a parameter, it is going to console log it. Okay, so that is what it is going to do. Here I just going to create another function, another function, and what I going to do, I just say my cal, and here I just going to say num1 comma num2, right? So this is what we going to do, and here I just mentioning like let sum equal to num1 plus num2. So I just getting the argument, and I need to sum it, and we need to return the sum. Whoever is calling the function, I just want to return the sum. So here, who is going to call the function? I'm just going to create a variable. What is that? It is going to be const maker, const result equal to, here I just going to say mycal, and here we will say what is the value. So I just say 5,7. This is going to be the value. So once the result is produced, what I'm going to do, I just want to update the result. I just want to send the result variable to the my display function, and this is going to log it for me. Okay, so what I just going to say, how we can do this? We can do this by calling this function. And what I need to do, I need to display it. So what is the result we get? We just pause it, right? We need to pause it. So what we going to do, if we run it, we will get the answer. So the problem is we get the sequence, right? So once what we need to do, we need to run both function. It is in the memory. So what happens once it is returned, it is going to be stated, and it is going to be it's like the sequences get controlled. And but you can see what is the problem with this. What is the problem here is we are facing is, if any errors that is happening here, like somehow we are not getting any results, or it takes some more times, even though what it is going to do, it is going to run the function. So how we can check whether it is going to be taking time? How we can check that means, let us understand. For example, this function is going to have, this function need to run in, it takes some time, and it should run for more than a minute. So it is not going to wait for it. For example, here what we can say, like simply like now, instead of num1, I just going to throw an error. So if I clear it, if we run it, here you can see we just get the error. The reason for this is, what is we are logging here, the reason for that is we are logging here. So this function is also get executed. Meanwhile, if we getting an error, and also this function is wait for no one, it is logging the result, of it. So that is why what going to happen in the console, we're going to get it, right? So if we remove this, and if I remove this one, okay, and I clear it, and if I run it, you can see the num is not defined. Here we will get the error. And in real case scenario, what we going to have means, if this process is a time consuming process, it is an asynchronous call. For example, we are working with an API, and it need to do some of the time work. So then what happened, it takes some time, but JavaScript what will do, it will wait for no one. So it is go, as soon as what it is going to do, it is going to display the name. So in that cases, what is going to happen, even before we getting the result, what is going to happen, what should going to happen, this display function is get display. So which means this function is not get the answer, but this display function get display, and it is going to show me something like undefined. It is not defined, like that it is going to show it for us. Okay, so for that cases only, to avoid it, we're going to use the callback function. So what the callback function is going to do, so the callback functions once executed, it waits for a function to complete, and after that it will be executed. In here, what is the sequence control? only once this function is get completed, after this function is get executed, then only I need to run this function. Okay, right now it is simple function, it will be work, but when I work with API or when we work with some other calls and all, what going to do, it is going to some time, it is going to take some time. So in that cases, what we need to do, we need to wait for the function to run, and we need to tell that this is the display function. So after you complete the full loading, then you need to display it. Okay, so that is what we need to tell. So how we can do this? So this is possible by using callback functions. So what are callback functions? Callback functions are nothing but a function that is passed as an argument to another function. Instead of passing a function like this, what we can do means, here we can pass and callback function. For example, I just pass my call as a callback function, and here instead of return statement, what we can say, we can call the function and we will send the sum as an argument. So right now we have only one problem. What is the problem it's going to be? So if it is a time consuming function, this statement is not going to wait for anyone, it is going to as soon as execute it. So what I need to do, I need to wait for the function to run. After that only I need to display the answer, because they are in the sequence. Once it is done, then I need to display it, so that they are in the sequence. So I want it in a sequence manner. So in that cases, what we can do, we can pass our function. What is the function we are having? We pass as that function as the another argument. Then what we can do, we can use the function inside that function, and this right now the function is passed as an passed to an argument to another function. So we are using inside it. Now the result is captured and it is going to display here. All right, so now this is going to be more asynchronous, like it is going to be work like where my cat. Right, so now it is what it is going to do, it is going to solve our problem. So what is the problem that we have till now? So the problem is, so once you work with some of the asynchronous call, then we will understand. The reason is, if the function is executed, then only I need to execute this function. But when I put outside this my display is equal to sum, in some cases, not some cases, if it is a asynchronous call, then what would happen, this function this function takes some time to execute. So it takes 1 second or more than that, it will takes that. So in that cases, JavaScript wait for no one. So what it is going to do, it is go for the next line and it will run the code. So if I running the myDisplay function without any argument, then it is going to produce me undefined, right? This is going to produce me undefined only. After that, even though the function is get executed, that is a waste of case. So then only the callback has been introduced. So by using callback, if we want to run a function in a sequence way, we can able to do that. So how we can able to do that? So right now you can see this is a function. This is let us consider this is going to be a time consuming function. It is going to run for a particular time, right? So it is going to wait to run. After that, once the function is get completed, once the process is get completed, then only this code is get executed. So why? Because this is we pass a function as an argument to another function. So this is exactly what the callback functions will do. So okay, so this is how basically when we work with the callbacks, we will use it. We will use it something like this. For example, we have this, and on follow to it we have this. What is mean by this? So this is a function. Once this is a function, and this is going to be the producer function, which means this function is going to have some time, right? It takes some time to run. Once the function get run, then I need to run this function. Once the function gets run, then what I need to do, I need to run this functions. Okay, so I need to wait for the function to complete its process. Once it is done, I need to run this functions. Exactly, callback function is doing that. When we work with the React and all, you can see it. Okay, so after callback function, then what evolve means, it comes the promises. So what is going to be the promises? Promises is, we can see it is a structured way of callback function. It gives some structure, but the syntax is very big. But it gives a structured way of it gives a structured way. It gives a structured way for the function. Let's see how it is working. For example, I have a function. Okay, so the same, I'm going to say my this. I'm just going to create a function, and I just going to say my display. And in this function, here I just going to say console.log, and here we going to say sum. Okay, so I'm going to get something, and this is going to be display. So this is going to be the we can say like producing code. So once a particular function, the time consuming process is done, where to I need to send that. So that is the function is here. So here we're going to create a producing code. So what is going to be the this is function is going to be the consuming code. We're going to create a producing code. So what is the producing code? The big time consuming function. It takes some time to run. Okay, so that function we're going to create by using the promises. So I just create a variable. I just name this as let my promise. This is going to be for my naming convention. You can give whatever the name we want. Let my promise, and this and this promise has, we need to give the new, because it is going to construct a promise. So I just say promise, and inside this it will take a function, and that function has two things. What are the things means? We have resolve and we have reject. Actually two parameters. So the first parameter is used for getting the success. If we have the success, so in callback function you can see that we only get the success rate. If it is error, it is not going to work. So but in promises it gives some extra features. What if it is success, then we can write some code. If it is a error, then we can write a code. So here comes the error handling process, the try catch method you are seeing. So how it is evolved from here. So here what we are telling here, we have the resolve. So this is go, if suppose I'm doing some of the process, if it is success, if the status is success, then I want to store that answer in the resolve. If it is going to be reject, if the status is error, anyhow, like any some API error, some code error, anything, then it comes to the reject status. Okay. So then what I need to do here it is going to, here we can write whatever the code want. For example, I want to fetch an API, or I need to work with the consumer, like that. There are so much of things we can able to do. Here I just simply say let x is equal to 0. I'm going to check a condition. Okay, so let x is equal to 0, and here I just give a if condition. If x is equal to 0, which means whether if it is equal to 0, then I need to resolve my okay. So where we are using this my resolve, this is going to be the first parameter. Okay, so you need to use it for my resolve. So if it is okay, which means if the status is success, then you need to tell okay, then you need to send the value inside the parameter. You need to send the value as okay. Else, if it is going to be a failed status, if it is going to be a failed status, then I need to send the my reject. We can name this as my reject, we can paste it here. So what this is going to do, it is for error. If some error has happened, we can say we're going to error. So right now what is going to happen, means I have a variable that x is equal to 0. I'm checking that if the variable is success, if the success state, whatever the success answer you need to give, you need to send it to first parameter, that is going to be my resolve. If you want to send an error statement that you need to handle the error, then you need to send to the my eject, that is going to be the error statement. Now if it is going to be success, this value is going to store inside my resolve. If it is going to error, this values go and store inside the my reject function. So how can I fetch it? How can I get the answer from my resolve and my reject? So here we have the then. So here what we have, we can call the promise, we can call the variable that we have declared, we can simply call it, and here we can use dot then. So what this then method then is used means, it is wait for the function to run. Once once the parameter gets its answer, it will execute this function. Okay, so that is for the then. And here what it is going to take, it is going to take a function only. So here I just simply say here it is going to function, and that function is going to be value. So this then method is for is going to be, the first then is going to be is used for resolve, and we're going to have another one, and that is going to for that's going for the which one, that is going for the eject, right, error method. If it is going to be success one, we can use it for the first one. If you are having an error message, then you can use it for here. So here what we can say, we have the value, and I need to run inside this function. So I just going to say my display, and here what we can do, inside this we can pass the value. So now this, whatever the value that we getting here, it's passed to, it is just sent to an argument here, and it is going to console log here. The same exact thing that we going to the same exactly what we going to do means, we going to do it for the error function also. So here what we can say, this is going to be an error, and this is going to be the same thing, value is going to be error. My display, it is going to be error only. Okay, so here we have two functions, and this function is going to execute. So we don't want this, because it is a one line code, so we don't want this one. Okay, so because we are using curly braces and it is a one line code, and even we don't want the value to, we don't want to give the parenthesis because it is a arrow function. If it is a one line code, we don't want to do it. Okay, for well structured, I will write like this. You can see, so what is actually happening. So I have a promise. This promises is a little bit advanced to callbacks. Why? Because we can able to handle the resolve, which means the success and also the reject. We can able to handle both the success one and also the error statement also. So if something is going to, if it is going to success, and I'm saying, okay, so this is going to be a success one, so we can tell the message to it. So once the message is going to pause here, once the value get inside this parameter, this promise dot then, this then keyword, it will wait for this promises to this producer code to run. Once this parameter gets executed, if it is a success, and this code for that, if it is going to be a failure, and this code for this. Okay, so simply my resolve, whatever the value we having in my resolve, that is came here. Whatever value that here we having in my reject, that will come here. Okay, so right now we will check and we will run it. You can see we will get okay. So how we will getting this? The reason is, we will say that this is a condition. Okay, so this is the code that you need to, this is the code that have, and this is the condition we need to check whether x is equal to 0. Then in my resolve, you need to send this message. Okay, so if it is not, if it is not like that, then you need to send me the error message to it. So here we have access to the value, what is the message that we have sent. My resolve, inside that, what is the value we have access here. In my reject, what we have access here. And what we are saying, we are sending that to a consumer code. What is the consumer code will do? So here, this is the consumer code. So here we will send this value as a parameter to here, and it will console log it here. Okay, so this is an example, because we are not working with the API calls and all, right? So this is an example. So for example, if we are working with some of the API call, if the API is success, for example, I say is valid. If a username, I'm working with the username, if the username is valid, okay, if the username is valid, true, if the username is valid, then what you need to do? Okay, so otherwise we can create a ternary operator here. Like we can say, like we can simply say is valid, and it's going to be an object. We just say const is valid, and here if the user is valid, okay, if the user is valid, if the user is valid, then if the user is valid, then what I need to do, I just want to use this parameter my resolve, and here it is going to say login. Here we can say login to dashboard, else then what we can say, if it is not valid, else what we can say, here my reject. Here we can say go for sign up. So this is how the if statement works. But here we are using my resolve, and here we are using the my resolve and my reject statement. The reason is, the reason why we are using here, because I need to check whether it is a true one, and I send the value to here, because this is going to be a consumer, like this is going to take some time. So once the process is true, I need to send the value to this my resolve, and the my resolve pass it to my resolve. After passing that, it has a function, and this function is passed to the consumer code. So once it is done, it will be execute. You can see login to dashboard. The reason is, it is a valid user. So if user coming here, he is a valid user. How we can check he is a valid user? Let me check, like we are fetching somewhere, and he, like we can say we have some database, and we are checking that, and we can say user. equal to true. So if it is available in the database, then what we need to do, I need to allow the user. So if the username is present there, then I need to allow the user. You can see login to dashboard. So that is what it's going to do. So if the user is not there, then here you can say this is going to change it to false. So if the user, so then what it is going to do, it is going for the sign up page. Instead of writing this, what we can do, inside the my resolve, we can say like, okay, so go for, we can code like go for this page and go for that page, like that we can able to do it. Okay, so like this, like that, this is how we need to work with the promises. And you can see the promises are very good. I understand that promises are very good, but the problem with promises is the overwhelming syntax of it. Okay, so you can see the promises, nobody likes it. So they will thought that what is promises and why there are huge is the, like that nobody likes it. The reason for but why the promises are handy, the promises are handy when it comes to handling the errors, success and error rejection, right? So this is going to be very handy in that cases. So if I want to do the exact same thing but in something later, means what, like instead of promises we have the updated one. What is the updated one we have? We have something called as async await. So async await, what it is going to do, it is going to do the exactly the same thing, and we can use this try catch method. We can use the try and catch method, and you heard it about, right? So if it is going to be if it is going to be success, then here, even though we don't want the syntax right now because ES10 has been removed the parameters also, no problem. So if it is going to be true, we can write in, we will try some code, and if it is has some error, it is going to throw here. So how this concept evolved, this concept is evolved from the promises like we have seen before. Okay, so the async await code, it will make our code much more simpler. So by using the async await, what we can able to do, we can able to do exactly the same thing. So for example, we can say, I just going to say async, I'm just going to say async, this is going to be a function async, and here I just say function my display. What is the keyword async will do? The keyword async will do, like I'm going to using an async function, and this is going to execute the asynchronous call. Okay, so I just going to say, I just have a function, and inside that what I just saying, instead of writing the producer code, consuming code, different place, I'm directly writing, this is going to be my consuming code, and here I just say my promises. So here we can say my promises. Okay, so here I just say my promise, and here we can say like new promise, and this is going to have a function, and in this function we going to have my resolve, and we're going to have reject, right? So anything you name, you need to give, you can give, but basically this is the exact thing that we call here, and we have the my resolve and reject. Okay, so here what we can do, we can give either, for example, if you don't want to give the, if you don't want to use the reject method, of course you don't want to give it right now, I just want only the resolve, if I want to only handle the success rate. So what I can do, we can go for here, and here I just say hi, I am here, like this we can say it. So what it is going to do, it is going to be asynchronous call, because we mentioned it. So we mentioned it, then the function is going to be the displayer function is there, and here we have here what we going to have, here we going to have the promises, and we have another keyword. What is the keyword that we have, means something called await. So what this await keyword will do, so the await keyword waits until this asynchronous functions gets runs. Okay, so it's going to wait for us. Okay, so for example, if right now I think I not used it in console, just say console.log, we can say await, we are not, yeah, await, and here I just say my promise, like this. If I say, means it is not work. Basically what we will do is we will so basically what we have that we have did, means instead of this, what we do, what we can do, whatever the answer is going to come, I just going to store it in a variable const result. This is going to be the, this is going to what we get as a result, and here we can say await. So what this await function is going to do, the await function is going to wait for the particular function to run, because once it is run only I get the answer, whether it is going to be resolved or reject, I going to get an answer. So I just going to wait for that, and here I just simply call my promises. Okay, so just call the my promise like this. So this is going to wait, and here I just say console.log, we can say result. Okay, so this is what we going to do. So what it is going to return, it is going to whether it is a whether, yeah, like let's see, the JS when we are working, it throws some error obviously when we are working with the asynchronous call. Let me check it with here. Yeah, we need to call that function first. Sorry, we need to call that function. So here I just going to call only one function. I just going to call my display. You can see before that we need to call more function. Here what I in asynchronous call I'm going to do, just going to call one function, and this is going to perform an asynchronous for us, and also this is going to wait for us until the asynchronous call get run, and after that it is going to display the answer for us. Here you can see, hi, I am here is there. If there is any error is there, then what we can do, we can add the reject statement. We can say reject statement. If some cases there any error is there, we want the reject. Like I just say reject, and here I just say error. So what is the error we can make? I just remove the string here. Okay, so that is going to be a very deep error. So what I'm going to do, what we do, we will make like something like this. We will make it, we will clear, and I will run it. Yeah, right, it does not work. So it will be happens when we have some fetching issues error, and it like that only it will happen. Let's see, we will remove this. Yeah, let me try this. We will run it. No. No, so it will happens when some errors, particularly some errors will occurs, the reject statement will run. So the reject statement, what it will do, it will send the answer like we see it in the promises, right? Same like that, it will send the answer to the my promises here, and it will be displayed here. So the async and here it is going to be little bit handy. So the why it is going to little bit handy, we are saying, because you can see that even though what I'm saying, even though it is a promises, we have two code, one is producing code and one other one is consuming code, but you can see the syntax is also very small, and in the sequence we are able to control the sequence also. Here you can see we have the asynchronous, and we are working with the call of asynchronous, and once it is get done, then what are we going to do, we're going to take the function and we're going to store it in a result that is going to be await. Okay, so that is what it is going to happen, and that is why it is working. Okay, so in promises the exact same thing we have done, but with some bigger syntax. We use then method, and like that we used so much of things. Okay, so here you can test it out. How we can test it out? For example, right now we have given a single word, right? So instead of we give some of the asynchronous call. So how we can give the asynchronous call? Set timeout, set interval. Set timeout is a good example, because this is going to be asynchronous call. So the asynchronous call means it is, we can set some time and going to wait. So what we're going to do, we're going to set we're going to use the set timeout, and we're going to wait for it whether the function is running or not. Okay, so whether the function is running or not, we're going to wait for it. So how we can say, set timeout. So this is an what instead of using directly asynchronous call, we creating a asynchronous call. That's it. So the set timeout has two things. One is going to be a function, and another one is going to be number of seconds that it needs to wait. So here what I going to do, inside the function I just say resolve. Inside the function I'm going to say just say resolve, and here I just going to still hello. And here how many minutes I need to wait? I just going to wait for 3000 minutes. So between 3 seconds, I just want to wait for 3 seconds. So now what it is going to do, this is going to be asynchronous call. This function has to wait for 3 seconds. So after this function get executes only, I need to run this statement. So we see that in normal JavaScript it is not possible. If I run outside the promises, if I run outside the async await, exactly the same thing, then what it is going to do, it is going to execute, it is not going to wait for no one, it is going to display the answer. But here let's see what happened. We'll wait for 3 seconds. You can see we will get the hello, right? So it will be run. So the same thing if I run it in the normal WhatsApp, like for example I just going to we just let us consider we're going to execute the same thing. If I want to execute the same thing, instead of using this async and await, then what it is going to happen, what this function is going to, what this function will display, mean it is not work like that. What it is going to do, it is wait for no one. For example, we remove the async and we remove the await function also. Okay, so normally if I give it, it is not work. If I give it, you can see it is going to send me a promise, because right now we use the promises. So if I use the promises, it is always going to return me a promises only. So instead of that, what we are not able to explain that. That is why I just say async, and here we can avoid. So the only thing is, if I have an API call, okay, if I have not an API call, I have an asynchronous call, which means it takes some time. Here you can see it takes some time, that is 3 seconds. So if it is take some time and I need to run a function after the time consuming function runs, then what I need to do, I need to use a callback statement. So this is a exact example for that function. You can see set timeout is there, and if I need to run, I need to send the result. I need to send the result comes from here. I need to send the result comes from here to the variable result statement, right? So after this function get executes only, I need to send the result. Okay. So if here we don't use, if I don't use the await, then it shows me an error like async function without await, it will not work like that. So we need to use the await. So what this await statement is going to do, the await statement waits for the function is to run. So it waits for 3 seconds. After the function get runs, so the execution is done, then it is going to do what it is going to do. It is going to get the thing, and we going to store the result, and if we call the result, we will get the answer for that. Okay, so that is what exactly doing, that is what exactly running. We can see wait for 3 seconds and it will be get executed, right? So this is what exactly doing, and this is obviously asynchronous. The only thing is, in normal JavaScript, it is a synchronous single thread, which means it wait for no one. So if I have something like this and I have another function, what it is going to do, first this function is going to execute, and then only this is going to execute. Okay, so first it wait for no one, so this time function is execute later. So before that it will be execute, but this function is depends upon the answer of this, like that somewhat it is depends upon. Then what we need to do, we need to create a callback function and we need to do it. Okay, so that is what we need to do. Okay, so this is all about asynchronous, and that is what we are working with, a asynchronous calls and all, how we work with, we can able to use this. And this will be helpful when you are accessing a file, when you are using the ajax request, fetch request, or some other. Okay, so some other calls you are using it, what we need to do, you need to wait for it. And all the keywords like async await, then, and promises, callbacks, everything handles the asynchronous function. If you are using a fetch, what it is going to be, we have the then, right? So what the then is doing there, because it once the fetch API make call, we have the something called as fetch, right? So what this is, that what this is for, this is for fetching an URL, right? Once it meets the call, and we have the then method, right? So we have the then, it is changed to the fetch call. So what it will do, we have actually two things is there. One is going to be a promise, and another one is going to be a normal one, right? We're going to have two things, right? So just a minute. Okay, sorry for that. So that's it. That's what is the then keyword, that what is the then method is used for. The then method, once the API call is done, I'm using an API call, so this is going to take some time, right? So if I'm using if I'm fetching a data that has thousands of data, whatever, hundreds of data or 10 data, 1000 data, lakhs of data, that does not matter, but this is going to be take some time to render that, right? So it is going to take some time. So after this URL gets successfully rendered, actually every data is get, then only I need to what, I need to access the response, right? We have the response, and that is what it is going to do. It is going to return a promises for us. And what we will do, we will use the rest dot json to parse the json variable. And right after this is convert, what this will do, this will this takes the promises and it will convert to the normal json. Then we get it to that the parsing work will be done. After that, what we have the actual data of it, and we can use whatever the data we can able to do it, and it is now accessible for us, right? So this is how the process has happened. So what is the then keyword then method is doing here? It wait for this fetch call to run 100%. So if we are using not then, or if the then is not doing that, then what it's going to do, so it will go and run for 1 2 or 3. Then suddenly what happened, this code is get executed if it is a synchronous means. So I'm fetching only three method. I'm just fetching only three method one, and then it gets executed means what would happen, and then it gets executed, what would happen means it is not going to work, right? So it is going to work because I have only, I just fetched one or two data, and again it go for the next line means it is completely not in use, right? So that is what I'm saying, right? Okay. Hello. I think my voice is audible. Just a minute. Okay, sorry for that. So this is how the data will be work. So this is how the complete data will be work, and you can use it. And so, like for example, this is the asynchronous calls has been done. Okay, so that's all for asynchronous. And I will give the attendance form, so I'll to fill that for day 4 if you want. Okay, so I just have the attendance form here. This is for day 4. Okay, I'm not sent it here. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can ask here. Okay, so then we can move on it. Okay, then we can move on it. That's, I will send the attendance form. Please bear with me. If you have any doubt, you can ask it. Okay.
I love learning new technology.
So this is what we're going to get. I will send the attendance form and you can use that. Okay. Okay, so this is all about promises, the asynchronous call and all. So I just wait for the team has the attendance form. I'm not able to send the attendance form yet, so that is the why. So just a minute, I try to send the attendance form with my mobile, so you will get the link of that. Okay, Just a minute. Yeah, we will get that link. Just a minute. I will send it to you. Yeah, I think the form I pasted in the, you can check it, but right now it is not in the link. Okay, so what you do, just copy that and paste it in your which one? Paste it in your Chrome. It will be work. Okay, so but that is not in the link format. Make sure that it is in link format. Okay, so I'm not able to get that. Okay, so that is the problem. Okay, so that's it. I think this is the fourth form of it. Okay, so and also I'm not able to share the screen also. So the asynchronous call is nothing but that's it. Okay, so actually two code, what are the problems that we face? First, now sequence control. So once once that particular function is get executed, we don't have access for the another function, right? So we are not able to access for the once the function is executed, then only I need to run then another function. That sequence we need to control. So for that we have the callbacks. So then we get the promises. So what is the promises is good from callbacks? The reason why the promises is good from callbacks, the reason for that is because it has two things. So because we can able to handle the it is well structured, and also we can able to handle the errors, and also we can able to handle the errors and the success. Both things we can able to handle. Okay, so that is one. And the next thing is about and the next things about is async await. So what it will do, it will reduce the promises syntax and it will combine with a single statement. And now async await is a good way to use the promise, good way to use the asynchronous calls and all. Okay, so that is what it is. Okay, so you can use that, I think, no problem. And that's all for today, guys. And is there any doubt, you can ask it, no problem. Yeah, the screen is not visible, I am also know that. The reason that actually that is the topic for today, for rushing down await, it is, that's it. So for some technical issue, the screen is also not visible here. Okay, it will be done once a person will come. Okay, so is any doubt is that, you can ask here. Okay, so I will be in the call only, you can ask for any doubts. Okay, you can, sir, tomorrow is class or not? So tomorrow is going to be have a, it's we have a class, but not for the JavaScript. It is for the regular people, like who don't know about HTML, CSS and JavaScript. We're going to take the classes for 3 hours. That will be taken. So we will give the basic introduction of HTML, CSS and JavaScript. We will take that. Okay, so that classes will be there, but not for JavaScript. Okay, so JavaScript you can expect from next month second week. You can expect next month second week. Okay, so this week Saturday is not there. Okay, Saturday no classes there, but the workshop is there. Which timing, sir? Just a minute. What is the timing that we have that workshop is I think is mostly we will conduct the thing in 3 o'clock. Let I check with that too. Okay. Okay, I think if you are in WhatsApp group, you will get the notification too. But mostly we start our class at 3. It will go for 3 to 6, I think. Yeah, 3 to 6, 3 to 6:30, like that. Okay, so it will goes. Okay, so that is the class. What is the question will ask for freshers? I selected for a technical round. What question will ask for freshers? I selected for technical rounds in JavaScript. So what are the question will be asked? Basically, the right now we have discussed in the advanced concepts, right? Those question will be asked. For example, I'm not in the WhatsApp link. Okay, this is the last session for this course, sir. No, like this is first of all, I explained the answer for Rocky. Like, what is the question may ask? The questions may ask from the ES6 concepts. So, what are the ES6 concept available? The questions will ask from that. Or otherwise, what is the other option that we have is what is closures and asynchronous concepts, and how will you handle the asynchronous concept? How will you handle the API? And the question will be asked from that. Okay, so ask from that too. Okay, so make sure that you use that. And the second thing is, this course is not ended. This is every month we are taking this JavaScript. Okay, so every month we are taking this JavaScript, and you can use it. The next month is also available. Okay, so you can use it. Okay, so I think the meeting. So now we can end the meet. And if you have any for WhatsApp link, we will give the link. Okay, so maybe come tomorrow, we will give the WhatsApp link to join. Okay, so if you join bit earlier means we will give it. Okay, so yeah, so that's all for today. See you in the tomorrow section. Okay. Okay, so I think this is yeah, you can ask if you have any doubts regarding that. I think the person will come, but it's still it is a delay is there. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can ask here. Okay. Hmm. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. I will send the WhatsApp because right now there is no support in the back end of my technical team. Okay, so that's why I'm not able to send the link also properly. Okay, so surely next class I will try to do that. Okay, so we will send that. Okay, so magnitude developer, the school force, like whatever you are learning, that has a scope. That depends upon how we are working with that only. Okay, so and one says this has this one have scope, that one have scope. So before that, whatever there is there, it has scope, no problem in there. Like it depends upon you. So but Marin, it has huge scope. Okay, when it comes to Marin, it has a huge scope. Okay. Okay, so then what is the next? So the live is that the live is ended. We'll wait for 5 more minutes and we will do it. Okay, so because my sharing screen also stopped. Okay, we need to do that. Okay, so is there any you want to ask? You can ask. Okay, or you can leave it, no problem in that. Okay, sure. As a fresher, I'm not getting a call back after applying. What is your suggestion? So it depends. Like it depends upon if you as a fresher you don't get a call back, means just try to improve the project skills. Like just try to solve your problems. Like for example, we are a developer, we have so much of things to discuss, right? So what are the things to that we can discuss is, for example, if I want to build an application, it takes some time. What the time? I need to work with the CSS. I need to work with the, if I want to, for example, I'm saying, okay, so if I need to go for the gradients libraries available like that. So what you can do, create your own library, which means not on, if I say own library, no, I'm not saying that big contribution and all. No, I say like create an app that will be help for your development. For example, I know people's creating the apps like they can select the color for their website. So like that, you can create app, create project, but that should solve your problem. That is great one, right? So you can create your custom components, you can create your custom color gradients, custom libraries for yourself. So like that you can do. Okay. Okay, so that will be that's how you need to improve the project skills. If you improve the project skills, then if you apply for it, they see your resume, and that they will automatically what they will do, they will the project will speaks to you and you have explained to the project, then they will automatically select you. Okay, so usually it happens, some companies they don't even consider the projects. Okay, so they will call you taking recruiters, they need to show the companies available, they will conduct you a demo interview, dummy application like that also. So it is IT, so much of jobs available, so much of application will be available. You need to put right, and you need to do the skills, and it will be fine. If you do that, then that will be fine. Okay. Okay, so this is what about it. So you are what are you able to, suppose I'm not able to share my so I'm not able to do that. Okay, so but you can contact us, I will send the official group number. Okay, so or you can contact us in LinkedIn. Right now I'm not able to share the profiles and also, so maybe if you come tomorrow, it is going to be a 3 hours workshop, you will get the information and all, you will get the WhatsApp group link and everything. The thing is here is the technical support, we don't have the technical support, that is why I'm also waiting here. Okay. Let's see.